On a Friday. I promise you. So I know it's late. So we have one more thing to go. It's a panel discussion, and I'm going to request Dr. Stevens, Dr. Alan Stevens from K-State. I'm sure all of you know him. He's the director of the K-State Excellence Research Center at K-State or Rita, and he's going to take over from now. He's going to be the moderator of that session.
This is better. Okay, our speakers are coming down. We've talked community gardens and other things, but we thought it'd be useful to hear from some folks who are actually doing it to the extent to try to make a profit, although the profits go to a variety of social causes. Self-profit's a good thing too, but anyway, they're the real experts because they're the ones with dirt under their fingernails trying to do it and in a very serious way and produce something that's sellable in a farmer's market audience. And I think what we'll do is each one's going to introduce themselves individually and talk a little bit about what they do and how they do it. And then mostly we're going to take questions.
Thank you. I'm Theresa Kelly, and I work for Cultivate Kansas City on the Get Growing team. And so what we do, we're a special project, and we work in collaboration with Lincoln University Extension and also with Kansas City Community Gardens to help people grow food, in particular in neighborhoods and areas that have challenged access to fresh fruits and vegetables. So I do a lot of one-on-one technical assistance with people who want to grow food to sell as a business or who want to create some type of food project, such as starting a farmer's market or doing value-added projects with the produce that they grow. So we can take them from dirt to table to grocery store with whatever project falls in between. So that's what I do.
I'm Alicia Ellingsworth, and I work for Cultivate KC. I run the Gibbs Road Farm. So Cultivate has a few programs, and of the two farms that we operate, Gibbs Road Farm and Juniper Gardens Farms, are two training, demonstration, for-profit farms. Gibbs Road Farm is actually a for-profit farm within the nonprofit, and the whole idea is as we try to grow food, farms, and community, we kind of need to model that. Who would believe us that you could actually make a living by growing food if we're not able to make a living growing food? So the farm I run is an acre and a half. We have a 40-member CSA year-round, a 42-week CSA. We sell at the Brookside Farmers Market and to about 6 local restaurants during the high season, fewer right now. But we also grow farmers by our crew are a lot of growing growers apprentices or someone who is just interested in farming and finding out where they fit into the whole movement. And community, we provide a place for folks to come out and volunteer to learn more about farming or just to learn what it feels like to be outside for a change.
Hi everyone. My name is Sherri Harvel, and I work with Teresa and Alicia, mostly on the Get Growing team, but then on the Cultivate Kansas City side too. And I own Root Deep Urban Farm, which is located 19th and College in Kansas City, Missouri. And I've run the farm from 2005. I think that's about it. Just because it's kind of repetitive to just say what Teresa said, because we work closely together throughout the community to build urban farmers and spread as much knowledge as we have about urban agriculture.
You want that one? I'll have this one.
Okay.
You want that one?
You want to be mobile.
So Cultivate Kansas City is a nonprofit that's been around for about 6 years, and we're really just meeting the demand. someone comes and says, how do you start an urban farm? So the Get Growing team was put together in a collaboration with
8 years.
MU, no,
No,
okay.
Lincoln University Extension and Kansas City Community Gardens.
So out of the demand, we put the supply together, folks who would help start a farm. The other farm that we operate is Juniper Gardens Training Farm, and we collaborate there with Catholic Charities to host the New Roots for Refugees program. So new immigrants who are looking to farm here, who may have farmed in the country they came from, join a 4-year program. And the first year, everything is provided for the folks, the seed, the water, the land, the technical assistance, several workshops a year, help getting to market, checking accounts, so business management, production plant management. And then as the years go by, with practice, they take on more of the cost themselves, more of the responsibility themselves. And the idea is that from the beginning, they're going to market, and they're saving a portion of their sales for market. The end of the 4 years, they will have saved enough money to buy their own property, their own farm, and to continue farming here in town. And we've had 5 graduates there so far. I'm going to talk a little bit longer and talk about our community greenhouse. We have a 6,000 square foot greenhouse at Gibbs Road, and it's a place where a lot of market farmers get their start early in the year. Right now, we're taking up most of the space for our own production, but folks are slowly moving in. And those 5 graduates of the New Roots program are sharing space. So it's they purchase a square foot amount, and that covers the water and the management for the greenhouse for the year, and then we all split up the gas bill. And so that's how it works. We all kind of share ideas, and we've learned a lot from the folks who come and grow in the greenhouse as well.
So one thing I would like to add, because when we talk about urban farmers and people making a living farming, that's relative to the individual. We have urban farmers who are making a living on a 1/4 acre, bringing home about $10,000 a year. And then we have our demonstration farm that can make much more than that, over $100,000 a year, by very intensive planning, awesome farm management techniques, and so those are the things that we specialize in, modeling that higher end, but then people can trickle down and apply whatever they want to the level of income that they aspire to.
Gibbs Road Farm is 1.5 acres. What's actually cultivated is just under 1 acre, and last year we sold $131,000 worth of produce. We raised 27,000 pounds of produce on that acre. We have 5 high tunnels in the greenhouse and pretty intensive production. We're also doing a fallow program, a 2-year fallow program, because the farm's been in production continually for 15 years. Last year, we took about 12% of the field out of production, and we just did fallow, and this year we'll start intensively doing cover crops and then put it back into production next spring. Probably tomatoes is what will go there. That's what I vision for now. Certified organic, I should say that. The farm's been certified organic since 1997, and we believe strongly in that.
Well, and we have that bias as far as our organization goes, but that does not mean we don't give assistance to other people who are farming conventionally. So we help anyone who wants help. So so are we set for questions?
While we go to questions.
Oh, look.
Anybody? Everybody's tired, let's go.
All right, so I've been researching. Ultimately, I would like to end up with some of my own greenhouse and property and whatnot. I've been researching unthought of crops or products that may not be being produced out here right now. Can you name a few of those maybe that are less produced right now that we need more?
Palis.
Oh yeah, we're running a SARE research project on Nupalis, an edible cactus, right now. So we'll have, it's a 2-year grant, so we're going into the 2nd year. So we'll be doing the research on the marketability of 3 different cultivars. And we're growing that on 3 different sites, 3 different farms. And they each have a focus on a different part of the market share. So at the end of that project, we hope to have a recommendation on the type of which cactus works best in our climate, produces the most. I think one emphasis is on actually the pads, one is emphasis on the fruits, and one is emphasis on both. So hopefully at the end of that project, we'll have that because, you know, there's always the trendy superfoods. We've all seen kale and spinach and
Collards
all the collards and all the berries that are coming out of the woodwork that are miracle foods. Well, Nopala, raw and juiced, is very high nutrition. So, and it's part of a lot of ethnic or cultural groups' base diet. So that's one area we're exploring. So it would be great to have more people doing that. Another area that's booming right now that you might want to do some research in is mushrooms. Aquaponics, of course, is coming of age. You know, because that can be a full circle production, you know, where you're growing your fish and you're growing vegetables in the water that the fish are swimming in, so it's self-feeding, so to speak. You also can get a byproduct that you can use to feed the rest of your vegetable garden. Can you think of any others?
We've been growing sweet potatoes for years, and about 4, maybe longer, years ago, we did a project growing them for the greens and harvesting greens to sell. So we started taking them to the market and sharing them with our CSA, and it's just that steady, bring it to market every week, bringing recipes, sharing recipes with folks that we've opened up the market. Now people come to the market on Saturday looking for sweet potato greens. So steady, constant. Bitter melon's another thing that we've learned from Asian farmers. Herbs are really...
What about wasabi?
Oh, I don't know that. Ginger.
Wasabi
Ginger and
is...
wasabi are two that I've been looking at.
We had a farmer
Obviously, in a controlled environment, of course, for both of them, but like out here, you go to a place and you get horseradish with green food coloring in it. You don't really
Right.
get like wasabi because it's too expensive to get it shipped here into the middle of the United States, except maybe like one place that actually carries it.
So we did... I'm sorry. We did have a farmer that did, Pove Hans, did he got a SARE grant for trialing ginger. So it's grown in a greenhouse, and he sells it down at City Market. Lovely, lovely. Not anywhere, I mean, the stuff in the grocery store is not anywhere near what, you know, the quality of his is. So, you know, the other thing we encourage is hooking farmers up with other people. So, you know, if you want to take one of our cards, you could talk with him and see what that looks like, you know, what the costs are, because sometimes these crops that aren't indigenous and need the extra care like greenhouse, those costs make it not practical.
Well, something like wasabi, though, the cost is high anyway.
Right.
So, I mean, whereas, you know, I mean, obviously there's a line there.
So if you go to the SARE website, S-A-R-E, that's, what is? USDA SARE.
Sustainable Ag,
Research
and Education.
Sorry, it's Friday night and a long work week. And you can search all of their research projects. So go in there and see what's been done. And if it hasn't, we can also help you. If you want to consider doing a SARE research project, we can help you figure out how to do that.
So the edible cactus project that we're working on, there's several dimensions to it. Like Teresa said, we're growing it in 3 different environments on the 3 different farms. But another part of it is also to build the market. You know, we can't grow all this stuff and then try and figure out where to sell it. We need to be building the market for wasabi or for ginger or for edible cactus as we go.
We see, say, like in South Texas.
Pads, yeah, the cactus pads. They're in the grocery store around here too. Yes.
And there's an indigenous plant. I look at you because sometimes, you know, you're the PhD, and so, but there's a native plant or one that does well in each of the states. So we got ours from the cactus guy, the cactus expert, one of the known cactus experts in Colorado. He recommended 3 varieties for us to trial. So we're looking at what, in particular, they did over this winter. Some of them look pretty sad right now, but they're coming back. The ones I have at my house are coming back, which is a miracle. So I think they're one of those plants like dandelions. They're meant to be here, you know, for something. So.
I'm not a food grower, but I'm a consumer. So eating locally, I don't see that there is commercially grown pawpaws because it's impossible to ship them. So it would be perfect food to grow locally.
Yeah, and those are trees that do well. We have, don't Brooke and Dan do pawpaws?
We have a handful of pawpaws at the food forest, and there are more and more people who are planting them. The same with chestnuts. You can find those at
Persimmons,
market.
the native persimmons,
People are eating mulberries these days,
yeah,
so.
yeah. Yeah, but there's those people that just hate them,
Because they land on their car.
I used to
Yeah,
eat
birds
them.
poop them, yeah.
I
They're
didn't
not
think
that
about the
sweet,
squirrels.
actually.
The squirrels eat them too, and you need to wash them before you eat them, really, so.
Yeah.
So that's a good observation, thank you.
So one of the things we've been seeing that's happened over the past several years is folks are coming to us to look to farm or to start a community garden, but then the apprentices that come to our farm are also going off to do related businesses, maybe not farming. One of our apprentices is on the Get Growing team building community gardens in Kansas City. One has just graduated with a degree in sustainable ag, I think it's sustainable ag, from Tufts University, and she was a Cornell extension agent for a while until she has gone on to start her own farm. Folks are in policy work. There's also a whole support system for other aspects of the industry. So Four Season Tools is a company here in Kansas City. Greg Garbos has started a movable, is building movable high tunnels for folks who want to farm with extended season. Missouri Organic Compost is another company that's come up.
With their food recycling.
And water catchment
Or
systems are
composting.
the next thing too, that people are trying to catch water off greenhouses or high tunnels.
One of the projects that the Get Growing team has been focused on the last year is stormwater management, and educating farmers, as far as how they can capture water, and just the education of a rain barrel is like spitting in the ocean as far as what your water needs are for a big production garden. So for me, that was a big surprise when you start doing the math, and we do something called a water audit that we've developed we have one that's been developed for community gardens and one that's been developed for people growing food in a production method, either to sell or to share in big lots. So we come out and we evaluate your site, and we look at your crops that you're looking to grow or that you are growing, the terrain, the type of soil. We look at your soil test and your production practices, and we can make recommendations on how you can best conserve, best capture, whether water catchment is even a good option for you. And then we also have done some policy work in Kansas City, Kansas, and we're in the process of doing that with Kansas City, Missouri, to make funds for water available to people who need water access, because a water tap on a vacant lot can be up to $8,000, which is cost prohibitive for someone wanting to grow food. So that's just, part of our policy work. And again, if we're here, the Get Growing team is here to help people get past those obstacles to growing food, whether it's being coached, whether it's providing resources or getting you hooked up with the right seed catalog or other people, greenhouse, some of the graduates have applied for cost sharing with the NRCS Green High Tunnel program. So hopefully they'll get approved, and we'll be building high tunnels for them. So,
We won't be building.
well, we won't be building their,
No, we won't be doing that.
we won't be building the high tunnels, that's right. We don't do floor, we help you do yourself.
Yeah.
But we'll be, hands-on through the process as far as you making that available to you. So, any more questions? Yeah.
The people that you assist, how do they get growing? In other words, do you provide seed, and then you provide,
Well,
do they see the seed, or do they put it right into the ground at the time, or?
Well, we provide mostly resources and just knowledge on how to get started. I think, we meet very few people that have no experience whatsoever. I mean, some people have, actually house plants, things like that, have a little bit of experience. But we have a lot of workshops that people can come to. Some people we work with, we can even take them to the greenhouse, just kind of show them exactly how to get started. there's a lot of seed resources out there and a lot of material out there that can help them get started. And like with the high tunnel, we don't actually come out and do the work. We just kind of help you get started, plan it out, and then go from there, be with you every step, that you need help. So we don't actually do the work. We just kind of guide them along.
Cultivate KC is an entrepreneurial.
Very
There you
good.
go.
So
Very good.
explain this, Teresa, how we're different than maybe a community garden, than Kansas City Community Gardens.
Well,
I think
as
maybe
we're
that's the
teaching you to
question she's
fish,
asking.
not giving you the fish to eat, I think is just the basic principle. So,
Yeah.
for instance, I'm working with a new farmer now. They've grown vegetables and stuff. They live on 12 acres out in Wyandotte County. They've planted a few fruit trees on a high slope. They have a cost match or cost share high tunnel that they needed to know what to do with. So the last meeting I had with them, we went over production planning. We went over soil building because they're focusing on building their soil in the high tunnel. And the part of that agreement, they have to have a crop in the first year you have it. So they're planting spinach and a portion of that, and then they're planting green manure crops to be able to start building their very clay soil that's in this high tunnel. They also have another half acre that's going to be production vegetables on a flat part of their land. And so they're doing a no-till type soil building where they're layering different materials, and they'll be able to plant into that next year. They're not in any big hurry. This was their retirement plan, and they're about a year and a half ahead of schedule, so they have the luxury of time. I sit down with them and I gave them a bunch of links to different things. We have sample lease agreements, we have sample production plans, field layouts, crop rotations. So we basically are a resource for tools. And if you need us to help you organize that, we can, but I'm not going to go out and weed your garden with you.
But you're welcome to come.
But like with Kansas City Community Garden, if it's a homeowner
Yeah.
that's wanting to get started growing, like in their backyard or in raised beds, I believe that if you would pay for the actual materials, they would actually come and help you put it together, help with the soil. They also have transplants that are for sale to help, and seeds too. But they probably wouldn't actually do the work for you either. It would just, kind of help people along, as much help as that they would need to get started.
So when we're talking about gardens and farms, how we define the two of those, we defined a farm is
For sale.
produce for sale, so someone who's
Yeah.
growing produce for sale. And a garden is if you're growing for yourself, your family, for your next door neighbor. So if you want to learn how to grow for sale, for market, come talk to Cultivate KC. If you're looking for seeds or transplants and some backyard advice, then you'd like to go talk to Kansas City Community Garden. That's why we're great, perfect partners in that way, so we could help you both ways. Another way that Cultivate KC is able to help someone start a farm is with the Growing Growers program. It's another collaboration, so K-State, Lincoln University, this one, Missouri Extension, is in Kansas Rural Center, and KC Food Circle. So we all work
Kansas
together.
Department of Ag?
Maybe.
No? Okay.
We all work together to put on workshops. This year, there's 14 workshops that Growing Growers apprentices participate in, and part of the program is also at least 4 hours working hands-on on a farm, and then finding a host farm, and the host farmer would then give at least 8 hours one-on-one sit-down training. That program is getting started. The first workshop is Monday, and it's how to start your own urban farm. And then we have one wholesale success coming up later, and then throughout the year, production planning, business management, pest, disease, equipment management, water catchment maybe. There's a whole list of that. I would say to go to the Cultivate KC website, and you're going to be directed to all these programs we've been talking about today.
And Get Growing Kansas City, we do a lot of work, a lot of the same workshops too, where we'll meet with an organization or a group and come out and have a workshop for that group, do a presentation, and then throughout the year, I think we have 4 or 5 workshops that we'll post on like our Facebook page and on the website that people can come to for free.
What about the expense? particularly some of the people that are from outside of the states, I assume that they don't have a lot of, to start up a farm or anything of that to sell. I mean, there would be an expense involved, and if you're not working, how can they afford to plant and such?
There's many levels to that. There's many questions there.
Yeah.
I'll start first.
Okay.
Okay, so the Growing Growers Program is a 10-month apprenticeship program, and it does cost $500, where we've gotten there are at least 6 scholarships, partial scholarships, to help more folks afford the program this year. So $250 to get that hands-on experience.
The other way, that's where the partnership with Kansas City Community Gardens is helpful, because they have a network of community gardens. If someone wants to learn to grow, they can plug them into a community garden that needs volunteers. Our training farm, Juniper Gardens, has 18 farmer slots, basically. They start out in a community garden to make sure that they have the ability and the commitment to be a farmer, and then they move into the farm training program. I don't run that program, so I'm not sure what kind of monetary investment, if any, they put into that. But it is a tiered program to where they are, like Alicia said earlier, they're subsidized for the first year or two, and then as their training progresses, they're with Catholic Charities. There's another organization that also matches what they save, and they're able to come out. The farmers that have come out of that have purchased their own land in Wyandotte County, and from a lot of times it's from the land bank, so it's very reasonably priced property. That's another thing we can help you do if you're looking for vacant lots or something like that to farm on. We can help you explore those opportunities. They are wonderful success stories. One woman has an acre or half an acre and a house, and the first thing she did as soon as the ground was dry enough is she tilled up the whole backyard, and she is one of our most successful market gardeners. But she took the bull by the horns, and she absorbed all that information and has made a living for herself. Now, that's not to say that her husband or other people in the household don't have jobs too. This could be supplemental income, and that's where we get to, it's either what you do for your sole income, or it's, relative. What is your cost of living? So there's a lot of programs out there that we can connect people to as far as getting them basic needs. Kansas City Community Gardens has a cost, a scale based on income. As far as when you join, you get 10 free seed packets, you get 5 pounds of composted chicken manure compost to fertilize with, and all kinds of transplants for $1 or something like that. So it makes it.
Come out and till.
They have a tilling service.
Low cost, or you can borrow a tiller at a low cost too.
Right. So there's a lot of resources out there to help growers who want to grow make it less of a capital investment up front. But there's also value in that monetary investment, because if you're making a monetary investment in what you're doing, you're going to commit to that and stick to it. So. Oh, so one other thing, I'll just talk about our programs. I have brochures up here for Get Growing KC. Alicia mentioned the Wholesale Success Workshop. If you're handling food for anybody, whether you're farming or handling food at a grocery store, at a restaurant, this is all about food safety and handling from ground to table. So we've got Tina is an expert in the field. That's on the Cultivate website, and I have flyers here. I have business cards, and the other thing that Get Growing KC does, thanks to the generosity of the Greater Kansas City Healthcare Foundation, we have $40,000 to give away. Well, $30,000 now. We just granted one round of mini grants.
Just keeps going down.
Over the next year and a half, we have three more rounds of mini grants, so you can get up to $3,000 to fund a project that serves our mission, which, at the beginning I mentioned, we are trying to help people get past the barriers to fresh food. So that can be a water system partially funded by that, or it can be, starting your own community garden. It can be making improvements to a garden that, expanding a garden, but it has to be bringing more food into a neighborhood or a population that doesn't have good access to it. So, but all that's on our website. We have getgrowingkc.org, cultivatekc.org,
Growinggrowers.org.
growinggrowers.org. So you can reach, the three of us through those websites, and we have other people that can help too. So
There's a lot going on in Kansas City.
Yeah.
So if you've not been to a farmer's market, or if you've not been to, you're welcome to come to Gibbs Road Farm, and just getting hooked up with the circle of activity, of participation, it's amazing what can happen. There's one way or another, we'll help people figure out how to grow some food, even with very little money.
So one of the things that Alicia is really passionate about is if you can actually get your hands dirty growing food, and I guess we're all passionate about this, that there's a role for you. You can be a good consumer. You can speak with your dollars. You can donate. You can support a farmer in another way. Or you can come to our Vandana Shiva workshop. Our presentation.
Or
I
the
don't know.
dinner that's going to be here at Johnson County Community College.
That's right. So Vandana Shiva, who's familiar with Vandana Shiva? We pulled a really good one off, being our organization is so lucky she's coming here in April, so I have postcards about that with the save the date. But there is going to be a dinner here. She's giving I think it's April 17th. She's going to be at Unity Temple on the Plaza. Those tickets are live for purchase on our website. So if you're interested in saving seeds and the importance of the seed to our food system, she's the woman you want to come talk to. She's all about food justice. And go ahead, you can.
Nope, that's it.
So anyway,
Hope.
so enough commercials.
Sounds like commercial.
Does anybody have any more questions? Uh-oh, okay.
But since you're doing commercials, there's going to be a tour of the Gibbs Road Farm scheduled sometime this summer, isn't there?
That was
That's
last,
the
that was
farm
last
tour.
year.
It's
That was
every
last
other
year.
year right now.
Yeah, that was last
There's
year.
one through the Master Gardeners.
Master Gardeners.
Oh, the Master Gardeners.
It's gonna be in August.
Right.
Just let me know and I'll be there.
You'll be there.
Well, the farm is really open. We're there every day, and though we're really trying to get work done, it's there for a show and to show people that you can do it.
It is nice to call and make arrangements
please
ahead
call.
of time because,
I might be nicer to you.
well, there are times you do want to visit and times you don't, and there can be volunteers there. We have ambassadors now that can actually take you through the farm and explain what's going on, and you'd have a better and more full experience if you call ahead and make an appointment.
Well, then now I do have a question. So I think it'd be interesting to have my garden club visit and tour that. Is there one good time of year that's better than another, or?
The greenhouse is beautiful right now, so there's not a lot going on in the field, but the greenhouse and the high tunnels are pretty
So
amazing.
February might be a good time to schedule a tour.
Depending on the year.
Yeah, so schedule the tour. We want you to come, but you're not really invited.
And the day.
Ami is the person you'd set a tour up with.
Yeah.
Her name's AMI, Ami Freeberg.
She's our outreach person. Yeah.
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 Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
and you can tour the entrepreneurial farm, Juniper Gardens as well. And so she's the one that you would talk to about any of that stuff. Yeah. So there was another question over here. Yes, no?
Oh, I was just curious with your recent election to City Council in Roland Park, or is there anything in community gardens going on in Roland Park? And, you know.
Do you live
and
in
what do you-
Roland Park?
I do a lot of work in Roland Park. I recently received a certificate of service
Uh-huh.
for helping old man Pops.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, you know, I work, and I live in Mission, so I mean, I do a lot of work through those areas.
We do have a new community garden. It had a rocky start, but it's on Juniper Road. So in fact, I just emailed with Sherri McNeil, my partner in crime in legalizing chickens for Roland Park. She is now, yay, chickens. Yeah, that's a long road to hoe. So she emailed me today to ask for where to get some good soil. So, because it's a stormwater site that's been compacted into concrete, barely grows grass, so they're raising beds and are doing raised beds, not built, but, you know, like what you do.
Okay, yeah, I hadn't heard of
So-
anything going on, I was just curious.
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah.
Mission kind of had a semi-failed attempt at a community garden
Mm-hmm.
over by the Quick Trip, and I know St. Pius has a really good one going on that has a lot of.
So if you email me, if you want to grab one of my cards and email me, I can forward your name to Sherri, because she's kind of coordinating that effort. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.